Hi, welcome back. Okay, I was so excited when I got this picture. One of my subscriber students sent me uh, one of her works of art. She's having a little bit of issues getting her golds really gold and her silvers really silver. So she sent me this picture and she gave me permission to do a critique on it. I think this picture is lovely. I think this picture is, her shading was very good. Now, I want you to just take some exceptions that this is a picture of her work. So I'm sure her work is a lot brighter in person. I don't want to delusion anyone that, this is where she stopped. I'm almost positive that this is camera issue as far as the brightness. There is some certain things on this picture that she was so spot on with and she's a little bit off with. And it was the things that she's off on, everybody can learn from. So she's agreed to let me do the critique in a video and we'll just begin. First, I thought her choices of colors was really good. She's got the gold coloring in. She almost looks like she was going for maybe a little bit of a brass because her reds were a little bit heavy and she could have gone with more of the yellows. But what works with this picture is that her golds were all different golds, all different types, where you have the really high yellow gold here going off with the redder color. So that works. She did a very good job. Second, her lighting was very good. Um, I'm going to point out a couple of things that she could have done a little bit better as far as, and these are easy mistakes, easy. Okay, her lighting is coming, it's an upper lit picture. I mean, there's nothing to indicate that she was going for lower light. So on the tip of her nose, she went in the opposite direction. Remember when I did the face and I said to put your three fingers over your face? Where it goes in is darker, where it goes out, it's lighter. So right here on the nose, it should have been a gradient going in both directions because the tip would be brighter, but it would be curving. So you would have it going a little bit darker. You've got the tip area here that would be white, very light, but she would have a small gradient going down. So the tip would be like right around here. So this is an easy fix. Just darken it in a little bit over here. And I would darken it up a little bit over here, and then you got your nose spot on. She also, you see in here, going around, and she did her gradients to a full gradient. If she wanted to round this area out completely, do your gradients going from both directions. Remember in my other video, I talked about tips. Get your points. It's where two areas converge. So you'd have a little bit of darker shading right at the tip. Okay. Um, on the eyes, she did it right. See how it's darker here and then it sort of curves? If she just darkened in right here, her eyes would just pop off the page. And that's so easy to fix. Just easy, easy. Another suggestion to her that I would make is to get rid of the stenciled look. She did such a beautiful job on the basic of the animal, but she left her negative space. And the negative space is your background and your coloring in between. Gold on white fades the gold. It's why jewelers display their jewelry on black, usually black velvet. So here you have all this heavy black in the middle, and I know this is the coloring book artist's doing because I know this picture and I know the book that it came from. It, the animal just happened to have come with the dark in here. I would like to see her extend it into the negative space, and she should go with a dark black in here, and then her golds would pop off the page. Another suggestion to her, now this is an example of how wonky eye can disturb the picture. It's a beautiful picture, but if you look at the eyes, you're gonna they're a little wonky. And it's because she put her highlights way too high, way too high. In the structure of an eye, where the lid is coming over the eye, there's always a shadow over here. So if she had grayed this part out, brought her highlights down, it would have come into a more natural position. There is no highlight in the pupil. There's always a highlight in the pupil. And I know she was trying to become artistic and do it her own way, but this is an example of wonky eye. There are just certain things on pictures you shouldn't change. The shadow that goes above the right under the eyelid, and your highlight being sort of centered, because the eyeball is actually a sphere. What I would have done also is I would have added a little bit of white so that the sphere did not cover the entire eye. Just a little bit over there instead of that highlight, and it would have popped. She also used Posca, and Posca is great. I sometimes use Posca, especially when doing the white of the eye, but a lot of it. And she went above the line, and you could see a tiny bit of black underneath. So that highlight really went astray. But her shading on the eye is very good. Um, Another little thing that you might want to keep in mind, and I know everybody thinks that pupils are round. They're really not. They're sort of star-shaped because they're muscular. They're in all eyes, they open and close as the light comes in. So the way the muscle in the eye is formed and the iris is actually doing its job, it would not be perfectly round. And I really should do a tutorial on eye structure so that you kind of just always know these are like one of those things where we say like there are certain things that are givens. They're always, and there are certain things that you could take artistic liberty. Eyes are one of those things that you really need to know the structure of the eye. So this book, and this is, of course, not her. I love Millie Murata. I love her artwork. I don't love her books. And I don't love her books for a really good reason. The tooth on Millie Murata's books is really not very good. They're thick pages, but did you ever notice there's a shine, sort of like an oak taggy feel on the pages. When you apply your pencil, the tooth isn't the greatest. You don't get that much out of the tooth on the paper, and what it causes is a waxy buildup. Unfortunately, there's not much you can do, but there are some things that you could do. When she's finished with this picture, I recommend spraying it. That'll help bring the wax so that you can't see it. In pencils, the pigment and the wax often separate, and that's why colored pencils really sometimes fade. If you use a fixative and it's not going to destroy your books, go out. I use all different ones. Get a good artist's fixative or a seal and seal it up, and you won't have that waxy buildup, and it kind of makes the waxy part clear so that your pigments come back out. So this is a really good example of where this is what's going to happen. All of Millie's books do this, and it could drive artists crazy. And some people don't notice it at all. It can happen almost immediately, or it can happen throughout time. So that's another suggestion that I would make for this book. Something else that she did right. You see how she darkened up the sides of her nose and she's got it nice and highlighted over here? That gradient is why her nose looks three-dimensional, why it's curving in the proper places. Um, some of her leaves uh, were not blended out as well. Like, see this? This is a beautiful blend on a leaf. Okay, my choice would have been to add a little bit of darkness over here so this leaf looked really spin like here. This is an example of one that I really liked. Um, Her color gradient is very good over here. Where she went a little wonky on it was, and this, we all do this, she was working on this picture too long in one setting, and she was getting too far ahead of herself. You see the line, the outline line on here, and we all do it, including me. Every single person can look at my pictures and it'll be the same. I'm only pointing this out because if you can notice that you're doing it, maybe you'll do it a little less often, but we all do it, especially on repetitive pictures where you're working leaf, 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 and it's taking forever just to finish all the leaves. And believe me, I know how um, detailed Millie Murata books are. So this may have had a better gradient. She may have gone with an internal gradient over here. And I guarantee this was one of her later areas that she did in the picture where she was just going, oh, I can't do it anymore. And a perfect example of put the book down, put the picture down, walk away, have coffee, watch some TV, play with the kids, whatever, do your dishes, and then come back and you will be able, you get a new perspective on it and you will be able to see where work really needs a little bit more. But in general, this is a very good picture. And I even told her in private she's not a beginner colorist. She's really going into the intermediate area and being able to, she's got the highlighting going. She's mastering that. Her shading is getting up there. These eyes, I love the shading on these eyes where she put her colors, the subtle of the gold, um, switching up her coloring over here to show it going in. And I love the color that she chose for these eyes. So really, and this could have been a little bit better, but I guarantee if she puts the black in between, this will pop, this area. So as I said, she did a lovely job on this picture. I probably, if she finished this picture up, I would probably have put it in my saved pictures book folder on my computer. And I like to save all the pictures that I really love because I like to go back and look and use them as examples for other students on what they can do. So a tiny bit more, maybe one more day of work on here. Use the magic marker. Don't use a pencil. You'll get a sharper black in there, and this picture is going to absolutely pop. So really good job. Um, Beautiful. I hope other people see what she did correctly. Um, the dark over here, going dark over here with the highlight over here really makes the jaw look. She did the same thing on the cheeks. Very rounded look, very good three-dimensional area over in the face. So beautiful. Keep it up. You're getting there. Beautiful job. So I will see you this weekend. We're going to work on some texture, adding texture to your picture, and I have 10 different textures to teach you. And then I'm going to do a color theory video in between I don't know whether I'm going to do that one this weekend and then put the texture pictures out, but um, adding texture will really make difference in a lot of people's picture and they're a lot. It's a lot of fun to do too. So I will see you next time. To my students, keep coloring and take care. Bye bye.
Sore and you want to see more, hit that like and subscribe. And don't forget to ring that bell.